Reaching this region requires hours of navigating crumbling dirt roads and blind corners at the edge of deep ravines. This is the final approach into Ladakh, a high-altitude desert in northern India known as the Land of High Passes. Its severe terrain kept it isolated for centuries. Today, that rugged geography is exactly what draws a global audience of adventurers. This chart reveals the logistical reality. 270,000 locals sit next to 200,000 annual tourists. Breaking it down, these visitors translate into thousands of vehicles, soaring water demands, and tons of waste, crushing a system designed for a much smaller population. This volume of human activity turns the high-altitude desert into an ecological pressure cooker. The physical reality of the region hit the moment you arrive in the town of Leh, which sits at 11,500 feet above sea level. At this elevation, the thin air triggers acute mountain sickness, causing severe headaches, nausea, and exhaustion in healthy adults. Surviving this frontier requires absolute physical submission, forcing travelers into 2 or 3 days of total rest before they can attempt to explore. That mandatory downtime forces every visitor to slow down and rely on the strategies locals use to survive. Traditional Ladakhi cuisine functions as a specialized biological fuel system designed specifically for high-altitude survival. Because the growing season is short, the kitchen relies on the caloric density of root vegetables and hardy grains like barley. Staple meals include thukpa, a thick noodle soup, and kambir, a dense pan-baked wheat bread built to sustain energy through long, harsh winters. To round out the nutritional profile, locals incorporate yak and zomo dairy, utilizing hard cheese and fresh butter as essential sources of fat. That fat finds its most polarizing form in gur chai, a local tea churned with salt and yak butter. The savory, oily broth performs a crucial biological function, insulating the body from the cold while preventing rapid high-altitude dehydration. Consuming these foods is an act of participating in a centuries-old biological adaptation to extreme scarcity. That same adaptation extends to spiritual resilience. As winter sets in and temperatures drop, the monastic calendar becomes the pulse of the community. Monks gather in temple courtyards to perform cham, sacred mask dances featuring vibrant robes and frightful deities, designed to purify the mind and symbolize the triumphs of good over evil. This culture acts as a vital psychological mechanism for surviving the extreme isolation of the high desert. This map traces the route out of Leh, climbing sharply until it hits Kargil La at an elevation of 18,380 feet. Crossing these passes pushes both engines and human lungs to their limits, before the road splits into the surrounding valleys. Because these highways push right up against international borders, travelers must clear military checkpoints using a strict administrative document known as an inner line permit. Clearing those checkpoints into the Nubra Valley reveals a sudden, harsh shift in the landscape, dominated by cold desert sand dunes and barren peaks. Cell service drops entirely. Fuel stations disappear. You're cut off from standard infrastructure. Following the Shyok River eastward brings you to the freezing shores of Pangong Lake at over 14,000 feet. Set against this unforgiving environment is the sudden appearance of premium luxury tourism. Lined up along the shore are heated geodesic domes and luxury tents with plush bedding and attached bathrooms, commanding upwards of $400 a night. Maintaining running hot water, 24-hour solar electricity, and multi-cuisine dining in a zero-resource zone requires a massive, invisible pipeline of diesel and water trucks from Leh. This level of comfort heavily insulates the traveler, but the logistical weight required to maintain it exhausts the environment they travel to witness. Behind the illusion of untouched beauty lie severe stress fractures, including seasonal water shortages and growing piles of single-use plastic waste. The region relies on glacial meltwater to survive the dry summer months, but those glaciers are retreating at an alarming rate. Pushing unlimited mass tourism into a landscape experiencing deep water stress actively cannibalizes the fragile ecosystem that supports it. In response, a powerful grassroots countermovement is actively working to reclaim Ladakh's ecology from the crushing pressures of over-tourism. The Snow Leopard Conservancy India Trust launched the Himalayan Homestays program, shifting travelers away from resource-heavy hotels. Instead of isolating visitors, this model places them inside traditional village homes, where they share existing resources, eat local meals, and live at the community's pace. A portion of the homestay income goes directly into a village conservation fund, turning local wildlife into a protected community asset. Along the trekking routes, local women run eco-cafes that use solar technology to filter water, reducing the reliance on imported plastic bottles. By keeping money within the villages and relying on renewable energy, these initiatives create a closed-loop economy that strengthens the local community. The modern journey through Ladakh is defined by the traveler's ability to protect the landscape they came to explore.